What's the most ingenious thing you saw in combat? Helmand Province, Afghanistan, 2010. Our unit was assigned to a remote outpost. Real middle-of-nowhere stuff. Supply drops every 2 weeks if we were lucky. We'd been taking sporadic fire from the surrounding hills for days, but couldn't pinpoint the shooter's location. Enter Specialist Thompson. Skinny kid from West Virginia. Never said much. Had this thick Appalachian accent nobody could understand. Most guys thought he was simple because he'd sit for hours just staring at the mountains. But Thompson wasn't watching the landscape. He was studying it. After 3 weeks of taking fire, he approached our lieutenant with a hand-drawn map. Thompson had been tracking every single shot, noting the time of day, direction, and even how the sound echoed off the valley walls. He'd created a complex triangulation system using nothing but a notebook, a cheap watch, and his ears. "They ain't random shots, sir," he explained in that thick accent. "It's the same fella. He moves between these 7 positions based on the sun. Always shoots when shadows are longest. Hunter's trick to avoid scope glint." The lieutenant was skeptical, but Thompson had mapped out the shooter's entire pattern, even predicted the next position and time. Ridge to the northeast, tomorrow 17:20 hours. Our captain decided to test his theory. Positioned a sniper team at the coordinates Thompson provided. Sure enough, 17:20 on the dot. Taliban shooter shows up exactly where predicted. 1 shot, threat eliminated. But Thompson wasn't done. He started applying his observation skills to everything. Noticed the locals changed their routes on certain days. Started mapping their movements too. Discovered they were avoiding paths on specific mornings. The same mornings our patrols kept hitting IEDs. Thompson realized the villagers were being warned. His solution? Change our patrol times randomly, but change our routes based on where locals walked that same morning. 8 weeks without a single IED incident followed. Then came his masterpiece. Taliban had been mortaring our position, but always seemed to know when our counter-battery radar was active. Thompson spent 3 nights awake, tracking electromagnetic signatures with a modified ham radio he'd built from spare parts. Discovered the Taliban had a spotter on a nearby cell tower who could detect when our radar went active. Thompson rigged an old satellite dish to emit false signatures, making them think our radar was constantly running. They stopped mortaring us entirely, thinking we'd always spot their launch positions. The brass eventually caught wind of Thompson's skills. Some colonel showed up in a helicopter, interviewed him for hours. Next thing we know, Thompson's gone, transferred to some intelligence unit we'd never heard of. Years later, ran into him at a veterans event. Nearly didn't recognize him in his suit. Turns out that simple country boy had a physics degree from MIT. He'd enlisted because he wanted to see practical applications before taking a job at DARPA. When I asked what he was working on now, he just smiled and said, "Still watching patterns, brother. Still watching patterns." Our unit had been equipped with millions of dollars in technology, thermal scopes, ground-penetrating radar, surveillance drones, and our most effective weapon turned out to be a quiet kid with a notebook who actually paid attention. Thompson taught me the most valuable lesson of my military career. In a world obsessed with high-tech solutions, sometimes the most ingenious weapon is a mind trained to see what everyone else misses. Technology breaks, batteries die, but observation skills and critical thinking, that stuff works in any condition. Last I heard, he was developing some kind of predictive analysis system for the Pentagon, probably still using that same worn-out notebook.